In today's video, I want to have a look at the Hoi An Hoard from the Hoi An or Cu Lao Cham Wreck, which sank in the late 15th or early 16th century, and the pieces were made in the mid 1400s. The discovery started in the 1980s when a Japanese diplomat noted that pottery shards from the Red River Delta were similar to the Chu Lao vase, which was in an Istanbul museum, which was signed and dated to 1450. Then in the early 1990s, Vietnamese fishermen started trawling shards of porcelain, which found their way into, obviously, the public domain, and they were in their nets near the Cu Lao Cham Islands, hence the reason for the name of the wreck. As these started to obviously be noticed by the public, antique dealers and adventurers started looking in and paying a bit more attention, and obviously more and more then got found. So Vietnamese law prohibits exporting national artefacts, and when two Japanese art dealers were arrested at Da Nang airport, authorities became aware obviously of the wreck and the findings within. In 1996, a businessman paired up with the Oxford University and the Vietnamese Natural History Museum to start excavating the site. The project took 4 years and cost in the region of $14 million, during which time nearly 200,000 intact artefacts were found out of a total of 250,000. Of those that were found, 10% went to museums and the other 90% were sold through auction. And we're lucky enough to have two of those pieces to have a look at today. So number one is this small, both of them are quite small pieces, so this is about 5 centimetres by 5 centimetres, and this is a lidded pot. It has the label from when this was initially sold underneath, and considering this is over 500 years old, we're approaching 600 years now, actually in remarkable condition. Yes, there are some chips and some cracks, but as you'd expect of something being under the sea for in excess of 500 years. And then a much nicer piece, a really small vase, again about 5 centimetres by 5 centimetres, but this one has actually no damage to it whatsoever. Beautifully decorated with the traditional blue and white porcelain from the area, and this one obviously has bird designs and floral designs, and again has the sticker from when it was sold. So these are quite rare pieces. Obviously Vietnamese ceramics are a much smaller collector's niche than some of the Chinese or Japanese porcelains, but really interesting pieces, which I hope you've enjoyed having a look at today. I'll put some photos in at the end, so obviously you can see them in a little bit more detail, but as I've mentioned, these are really rare items with only about, I think it's 180,000 intact found, which is completely different to some of the larger discoveries, such as the Tek Sing discovery, of which we're fortunate enough to have some other porcelain artifacts from, where there was in excess of 300,000 found. So we're going to do another video on the Tek Sing wreck and find out a little bit more about that. So please do subscribe so that you get notified when that video is launched.